From the outside, it looks like a story of instant fame, but the truth behind Marc Anthony is far more complex, layered with struggle, reinvention, and moments that quietly reshaped an entire music culture. This documentary explores how a boy from a modest background became one of the most influential voices in modern Latin music, why his name is once again dominating conversations, and what his legacy truly represents today. This story begins long before sold-out arenas and global recognition. Marc Anthony was born into a working-class family with deep cultural roots and limited resources. His early environment was shaped by discipline, tradition, and constant exposure to music. From a very young age, sound was not just entertainment, but a form of identity and survival. Music played in the home, in the streets, and in community gatherings, creating an atmosphere where rhythm and emotion were inseparable from daily life. As a child, Marc Anthony showed an unusual sensitivity to sound. He did not just listen to music, he studied it. He paid attention to vocal phrasing, emotional delivery, and the way lyrics connected with people. Formal education followed a conventional path, but it was clear early on that his true focus was music rather than academics. While school provided structure, his real learning happened outside classrooms, absorbing influences from classic Latin singers, soul music, and contemporary pop. During his teenage years, Marc Anthony began experimenting with songwriting and studio work. His early interests were not immediately aligned with the genre he would later become famous for. Instead, he explored different musical directions, including pop and underground sounds. These early experiments did not bring success, but they provided technical skills and a deeper understanding of the industry. He learned how records were produced, how contracts worked, and how artists were often controlled by forces beyond their talent. The beginning of his career was marked by rejection and obscurity. Early releases failed to gain traction, and industry gatekeepers did not see him as a viable star. At times, it seemed his voice did not fit neatly into existing categories. Rather than giving up, Marc Anthony adapted. He returned to his cultural roots and embraced a style that allowed him to fully express emotion through powerful vocals and traditional rhythms, while still incorporating modern elements. This shift became the turning point. Once Marc Anthony committed to this musical identity, audiences responded almost immediately. His voice stood out, not because it was polished, but because it felt raw and honest. Listeners connected with the emotional weight behind each performance. Recognition followed gradually, first within niche audiences, and then across mainstream platforms. Concerts grew larger, album sales increased, and his presence became unavoidable. As his career progressed, Marc Anthony accumulated major achievements that solidified his position in the industry. He released multiple successful albums, collaborated with prominent artists, and became a consistent presence on international charts. Beyond commercial success, he played a critical role in bringing Latin music to global audiences without diluting its authenticity. His work demonstrated that language barriers were less important than emotional connection. Despite professional success, his journey was not free from difficulties. Personal struggles, highly publicized relationships, and industry pressures often placed him under intense scrutiny. There were moments when public perception shifted and critics questioned his choices, both professionally and personally. These challenges tested his resilience and forced periods of reflection and recalibration. Now, the reason Marc Anthony is trending right now is not accidental or random. The current surge in attention can be traced to a recent high-profile public appearance combined with renewed media focus on his long-term influence. This moment began when clips from a recent live performance circulated widely online. The performance stood out not for spectacle, but for vocal control and emotional depth, reminding audiences of the core skill that built his career. The trend accelerated as media outlets began revisiting his catalog, highlighting how many contemporary artists have been influenced by his style. Interviews and commentary surfaced, discussing how his music shaped a generation of performers and listeners. Social media amplified these discussions, turning nostalgia into active engagement. Younger audiences, many of whom were unfamiliar with his earlier work, began discovering his music through viral clips and curated playlists. What makes this trend significant is timing. It comes at a point when conversations about authenticity in music are growing louder. In an era dominated by short-form content and heavily produced tracks, Marc Anthony represents a contrasting model built on vocal performance and emotional storytelling. The renewed attention is not just about the individual, but what his career symbolizes in the broader music landscape. This moment also matters because it reframes his legacy while he is still active. Rather than being remembered only as a past icon, Marc Anthony is being discussed as a living influence whose work continues to resonate. The trend reflects a broader reassessment of artists who built careers before the digital age and how their contributions remain relevant today. Public and media reactions have been largely analytical and reflective. Commentators have focused on consistency, longevity, and the ability to evolve without abandoning core identity. Fans have shared personal stories connected to his music, reinforcing the emotional impact of his work. Critics have acknowledged that while his career included missteps, his artistic contribution remains substantial. Currently, Marc Anthony occupies a unique position. He is neither chasing trends nor retreating into nostalgia. Instead, he maintains selective visibility, appearing when the work speaks for itself. Looking ahead, future possibilities include continued performances, mentorship roles, and potential collaborations that bridge generations. In the long term, the legacy of Marc Anthony is defined by more than awards or sales. It lies in how he expanded the global reach of Latin music while preserving its emotional core. His career demonstrates that longevity is built not on constant reinvention, but on deep understanding of one's voice and audience. As this documentary concludes, the story of Marc Anthony serves as a reminder that true influence often unfolds slowly, shaped by persistence rather than instant success. If you found value in this deep dive into a career that continues to shape music culture, subscribe for more long-form documentaries that explore the stories behind the headlines.